Nickelodeon.
Candace Owens is being sued.
Oh my God.
Once again, Candace decided she was going to open up her mouth and start saying a bunch of foul things about individuals I guarantee you she's never met a day before in her life. Always wanting to smoke, but then she's going to fire back as soon as some other people throw some more smoke in her face. Well, she's being sued because she allegedly, well, it ain't really allegedly on this, she called the French president's wife a man. Or well, she said that this individual was born a man, and then you can kind of see where that would be slightly offensive, right? And I mean, it is something that is worthy of defamation claims, but I don't know how much legs this is really going to have at the end of the day. This just sounds like somebody's bitter and upset about somebody calling them a name that they didn't like. And there's not going to be something you can really sue them for, but hey, they might get Candace. They are politicians and they do find a way to get a check at the end of the day. They always milk a check out of somebody somehow, some way. So there's a good chance that Candace might have to pay up in this instance. Now, I've also been a person that I'm hoping by the end of this video, I'm not going to get sued by both of these parties because I might say some things that could offend both individuals. Now, in the past, I've already said these things about Candace. Okay, so it's been brought to my attention that Candace Owens apparently looks like E.T. So somebody mentioned this the other day in somebody's comment section, and I was like, man, I don't know. Well, do they? And then I started thinking about it. I got to pull this up. And so when I decided to go home and pull this up on my computer, I came up with these results. And I was in here thinking, damn, what a crazy resemblance between these two. With the wide cheeks, the wide eyes. I didn't really want to say brown skin, but the brown skin. You know, the hair. The only thing E.T. is missing is weave. Not saying that Candace rocks weave, but I mean, if E.T. rocked a weave, he'd look just like Candace. The only thing that we're also missing from this photo is like the glowing finger from Candace. Now, if Candace's finger, lit up like light bright, then we would almost have a matching photo here, which is crazy to me because I didn't want to even say that. I didn't even want to be that mean to Candace, even though she's a hypocritical B word. And I was thinking to myself, when I saw the French president's wife, I kept thinking, oh my God, this actually looks like E.T. too. Nigga! In a slightly different way. It's just like the part in the movie where they actually put the wig on E.T. I mean, people are riding her about this wig. I mean, and it's clearly a wig. There's something that she's missing underneath that. Like, nobody's hairstyle is like this. Nobody opts for the Gwen Shamblin haircut. Like, and that was actually her haircut. In case you don't know who Gwen Shamblin is, just a quick rundown. She was an individual who led a religious weight loss cult here in Nashville. Like, I mean, people who are privy to what's going on here in Nashville understand what happened. Courtney Michelle, you would know. And she ended up eventually dying in Percy in a fiery plane crash with her husband that she pretty much sacrificed her entire family for. So it was a really big thing. It was a really big mess, and it was undercovered, and there's all sorts of documentaries out called The Way Down. You can find it. It's really good, by the way. Definitely interesting watch if you like cult type of stuff. But for whatever reason, she was another individual that couldn't stay from Percy couldn't stay away. I don't know why so many people around this area always go to Percy The only thing that happens to people there is they die. People always die at Percy but yet nobody ever pays attention to any of the warnings that's ever given out by the city. It's not like they don't tell you, hey, stay away from Percy There's drowning that takes place here all the time. Next thing you know, there's boating accidents, plane crashes, suicides, all sorts of stuff happens at Percy But yet, for whatever reason, people keep going back to experience their own fatalities. I don't get it. Why don't people listen when there's actually warnings? People were trying to tell you, like every time, but I guess people know when they watches the news. They always say it on the news, hey, somebody else died at Percy today. And it was like, I thought that place was blocked off. Thought it was banned. I thought they had rope everywhere, which you can't put that much rope up to actually keep people from going inside. I mean, if people are going to go, they're going to get in. But it's just like, stop. But I know Courtney Michelle would know what I'm talking about. Percy is a death trap. Just crazy to think that like people still keep going there. But I'm straying away from the point again. But does she not look like E.T.?
I beg your pardon?
I mean, this woman is not a very good looking woman. Now, I will give it, maybe she was in the past, and she has aged quite a bit because apparently she's a lot older than her husband, which I was thinking, this is her husband? I thought it was his mom. I mean, because it does look like there's that kind of age gap difference. Apparently, that was his teacher in the past. There's all sorts of allegations that's went on about this relationship. Apparently, she also done put hands on this man in the past too on the airplane. Probably because of the fact that if you look at her, this man stepping out. There's no way this guy's being faithful. There's no way, no how that this guy hasn't tried to clap another pair of cheeks other than hers. I'm pretty sure those things are dried up at this point. Just look at her face. She looks like she's one of those women who spent her entire life out on the beach and she eventually turned into a prune. Now she put on the wig because I guess all her hair fried off or something like that. And now she looks like this. She literally looks like a walking mannequin. Scary to look at. I doubt that's the only pair of cheeks that he's been clapping. While she was on the airplane talking about, what has she got that I don't have? She was going off. She was snapping on that man. I definitely see the photo and I definitely believe that was her putting hands on him about some cheating allegations that he probably had come up in their relationship. It feels pretty obvious. But they put that away and they've carried on their relationship, but they're not going to take slander from Candace Owens, another individual who apparently looks like E.T. They said, have you looked in the mirror lately? How dare you say that about my wife? And he was standing up and he was like, you know what? No, we're not going to take this. Even though she put hands on me, I'm not going to allow this disrespect. Nope. I know I probably disrespected her way more in our relationship than Candace could with these statements, but it is what it is. Now, listen, I know this is a big deal because you can't just throw these kind of accusations out at somebody. Can you imagine somebody would be like, hey, Trina was born a man at work? And it's like, wait, what? You know how quickly those rumors would spread about that workplace? Oh, it wouldn't take very long. I'm pretty sure by lunchtime, everybody would know that Trina was born a man, even though that she wasn't. And then she's got to go out here and defend herself and be like, listen, I wasn't born that way. And you know what? Look, I am offended. And people are going to ask you, why are you offended? And she's going to be like, it's pretty obvious. And then they're going to be like, is it pretty obvious? That sounds pretty offensive to say something like that yourself. And she's going to be like, come on now. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? She's like, come on now. You know that is offensive. It's not that I have anything against, trans people, all that, nothing. It's just, I don't want to be called that. And that's basically what she'll have to defend herself for. And that's what the French president's wife is now having to do because of these allegations. Because just like with every other conspiracy, people start digging deep. They start looking into history and start trying to manipulate the facts. They Wikipedia that shit and just start changing things. They just start going out there and just actually be like, oh, do you see that photo? Something don't look right. When she came out of the womb, she didn't have any hair. Isn't that a sign? Even though no babies have hair really when they come out the womb. But hey, it's what it is. This whole thing is crazy to me because she looks like E.T. with a wig and Candace looks like E.T. with a wig, and it's completely different ways. I mean, Candace is much more attractive than this woman. Like, I could see why people would want to actually smash Candace, except for when she opens her mouth and it's like, let's just put a brown paper bag over that. And then actually, as a matter of fact, you know what? No, we can't do this. We can't. I'm sorry. I can see all sorts of people like, no, at the end of the day, you talk too much. And now I don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was one of those things she never said a word, people would be like, man, Candace is bad. But as soon as she starts talking, you're like, this is an ugly woman. Nope. No can do. And that's what you'd probably think when he did Candace that way. So this lawsuit is interesting. I am curious as to what you think about this lawsuit. Do you agree? Do you think they both resemble that alien from outer space that ended up putting a hoodie on and going over the moon? Steven Spielberg, spectacular. I want to know your thoughts about this situation. I personally think it's quite hilarious. I mean, if Candace loses money over this, the fact that she was out here just throwing out outlandish claims, especially the fact that I don't think she was a man. I mean, they denied it. There's nothing else that says that she's a man outside of she has an old pruny face. But that's because she looks like she's 155 years old. I mean, it's like the crypt keeper or something like that. I mean, she looks like she's Tales from the Crypt with skin. It's just because somebody is a little busted and past it doesn't mean that they were born another sex. It just doesn't. It just doesn't mean that at all. And like I said, those things I said about Candace, they were all in jokes. I wasn't actually trying to dive deep into her history and prove that she was actually from outer space. I was just saying that she kind of resembled E.T. And this woman, I'm just saying, I know that this man was stepping out in that relationship, and that's why she put hands on him. I know y'all are thinking the same thing. I know you are.